It is finally over here. The Porsche Model 911 Carrera facelift. Now this brings me down to a very important question. Is it better than the Mercedes AMG GT, the Aston Martin Vantage, and the McLaren Artura? It does seem to have a similar price range because this particular Porsche Model 911 Carrera costs 220,000 euros. Now there's some things I actually love about the Porsche Model 911 compared to its competitors. Now this has to be one of the best steering wheel I've ever seen. Just look at it. The appropriate size, appropriate thickness. This is everything I've ever wanted. Because when you look at the Mercedes AMG GT, they have mountain bike size steering wheels. And same for most of the competitors out there, except McLaren. McLaren is almost on par. And listen to the sound of the door. The sound of the bonnet whenever I open it. Oh, well, at least the bonnet gets a soft close. I mean, look at this. Just admire how metallic this part of the bonnet looks. I mean, thank goodness they don't have any fabric covering it. Now, I just love the fact that you get Porsche written right onto the fuel cap. And one thing I just love about the Porsche Model 911 Carrera is the consistency, the history, some things that just never changed. They stuck to the same theme for many decades. Now, as part of the facelift, they've sharpened the edges downwards over here. They still have the traditional Porsche design, and thank goodness for this, but they did increase the air vents that are beneath. Now, when it comes to this segment, you're not going to pay attention to practicality that much. In fact, practicality is not going to be the first priority. But if ever you still desire some practicality, this is where the Porsche Model 911 tends to shine. I mean, look at this. You get a nice door bin right here, a split door bin. There's another door bin right there. But wait, it's not all pink roses. I did notice some problems already with this facelift. Despite the consistency in design, why would you need to have this pop-out door handle? I mean, come on. And already opening the Porsche is a bit, I mean, it's a bit difficult because it reminds me of what Mercedes did with their pop-out door handle. It's like you cannot, you have to pull a bit more to open the door. 220,000 euros and you don't even get soft close. Nope. Now, something a bit non-conventional about this Porsche Model 911 would be the fact that they put the sunroof buttons down here instead of having it conventionally up here. And I don't know what was the purpose of doing that, because up here there's this hard plastic that has no purpose. And then onto the passenger side, you get some interesting practicality solutions, like an additional cup holder here. This makes a lot of sense. But what doesn't make any sense is this shallow, narrow storage space right here. And when shutting the door of the Porsche, the bottom part of the door will likely cover that area right there. Now, these indicator lights look evolved. That's really good. But just a little problem I've noticed is, why does the side indicator go right here next to the wheels? I just feel like putting it there was a bit of an afterthought. It would have been nicer if it was maybe here or perhaps onto the wing mirror. Because if we look at the side view, there is no indicator lighting or anything. The side indicator light is there. Now over to the part which I'm very excited about, the interior of the Porsche Model 911 Carrera. Okay, so already upon climbing inside, I think this interior has to be one of the best in this segment. It is far more composed and convincing and serious than its competitors. The steering wheel is one of the best. I absolutely love it. The seating adjustment is very detailed, but it's not all pink roses. There is one big problem I noticed about this Porsche. The mirror controls and the memories, the seating memory. Why is it that it's all hard plastic? I mean, look at it. It looks as if it came straight from an Audi or a Volkswagen Golf. Because if you look at the buttons here, it's soft touch, it's all modernized, it's all beautiful. But then you look at the mirror controls and the window buttons, you're like, what? What happened over there? I mean, Okay, and then the steering wheel is good, as I emphasized before. Steering adjustment is up. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a unique system. That's wonderful. It's great. But then another thing I just noticed that's a bit odd for a Porsche is, why is the steering wheel palette so tiny? It's so tiny. Like, wouldn't you want longer pallets? But then, okay, it doesn't really matter. Then you get driving mode that's onto the steering wheel. Reminds me of something the Italian competitors obsess over. The gear knob is good. Porsche puts the climate control down here, which is very similar to what I saw in an Audi. They like to put the climate control at this area down. Then up here, there's no shortcuts to your infotainment system, but instead you get the traction control button right next to the hazard lights. Now, I'm going to be very honest, I don't always feel comfortable seeing a traction control button at this area right next to the hazard lighting. It's, you know, it's like, what if you accidentally press the wrong buttons? Now, traditionally, Porsche always puts the start-stop button on the left side, next to the door, which is awesome. I think this is what I'm talking about. They stick to consistency. I have to constantly stretch my arm to reach the screen itself, whereas in BMW, they have a nice swivel wheel right here so that I can just use the swivel wheel to control the infotainment system. Here, Porsche insists that you do it directly like this. And the screen size is not big compared to other competitors or other Porsche models I've seen before. Now, it's debatable if this is really something to question, because Porsche stuck to old school designs here, and this is good. Thank goodness they don't have a massive tablet to control everything like some competitors have obsessed over. They stuck to bread and butter basics over here, whereas in the Mercedes AMG GT, they've just lost the plot with the screen. And now you get the central console storage, which you have to open from this side. There's a button on the other side, which is something I found a bit interesting at first. And it's not entirely central console storage, it's more like a wireless recharge for your telephone. The glove box is decent. Then as a Porsche owner, I would love to wear sunglasses someday. And Porsche doesn't offer glasses holders. So I just put it on the door bin, I guess. Over here is your instrument cluster. Now, if we look at the design of this whole area, Porsche has played it really evolutionary. It reminds me of what I saw in the Porsche Taycan. We're also going to check out the rear seats. So, all right, let's take a seat towards the rear. I think the rear seat will not be ideal for adults. That's all I can confirm. If you have kids, I think they will fit properly in the back. Do you know what I would use the rear seat for? I would just use it for storage space. I mean, you know, if going to the gym, I cannot put my gym bag all the time at the front in the bonnet. So here's my conclusion of the Porsche Model 911 Carrera 2024 facelift. For a price of 220,000 euros, this Porsche Model 911 makes the most sense. It's a very versatile vehicle in its segment. Practicality, the design, the history, it's got a little bit of everything compared to its competitors. The McLaren Artura is very performance oriented. You're not getting it unless you really are taking it to the tracks. The Aston Martin Vantage is really status oriented, much like the Bentley Continental. The Mercedes AMG GT is the closest competitor I can think of, and even the Mercedes AMG GT is a bit difficult to appreciate. But then the only problem the Porsche Model 911 suffers would be the fact that it's a bit saturated. A lot of people love the Porsche Model 911, and it goes to a point where I would see at least 4 Porsches every single day, this model. And I have doubts you'd want to be driving the same vehicle as your neighbors. But if this is the coupe of your dreams, you should go right ahead and buy it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. I will see you all next time.